I Know Who I Am by Sinette. Welcome again, listeners. This is Touched by Grace with Thumela, highly favored. Good morning, Thumela.
Morning, morning.
Good morning, Bulelani, our guest here today in Touched by Grace. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome here on Agape FM. And thank you to all the listeners for tuning in again on another show of Touched by Grace this Friday. It's such a blessing, such a pleasure to have you here today. So I'm gonna let Thumela to hear the bio of our guest here today. So you got to know who are we having here today on Agape FM. Over to you.
Welcome to your favorite show. We're here today with Mr. Bulelani Mwangana, also known as Ati. He is 30 years old, young man. He grew up in Izinyoka Township, Port Elizabeth, where he spent most of his childhood days with his late grandma. He went as far as studying both electrical and mechanical engineering at Port Elizabeth College, but he left them incomplete. He is an online freelance writer and own a mathematics Facebook page called Math Sessions with Mr. M, where he helps both primary and high school students with his mathematics skills. He is a husband of one beautiful wife, and he is a God-fearing man. Wow.
That wife must be beautiful. We greet you, wifey, from wherever you're listening. Thank you. Welcome you on Agape FM.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank
Wow,
you.
it's such an amazing. I want you to start from your childhood. You grew up with your grandma. Tell us your journey, like how you grew up. How has it been? I know grandmother always spoiled child. So have you been spoiled by your grandma that much? Or tell us a bit about your childhood journey.
Wow. Okay. Good morning, everyone who is listening. I'm going to start how I grew up with my grandma. It's a long story because most of my days I spent with her. And growing up as a child, with her nurturing me and showing me how to live life. Also, most of the time, I would say she used to spoil me. I was one of those spoiled brats, if I can put it that way. I was one of those spoiled brats. I would get anything that I wanted to get.
I can imagine.
Yes, so I was that child. I was that golden child in the house where I just do whatever I want to do. So, but mostly what I learned from her is that you have to respect other people, have respect for elderly people. You have to learn how to treat yourself. And most of the time, she would emphasize on the point of education. So I learned that from her. So grandma used to teach me. There are many things that I can talk about here now. If she was alive, I would tell these things. But most importantly to me personally, I learned that to live in this life, you have to start new things so that you can be able to survive. Most of the time, we don't put it that way, so you survive, but you learn, you start new things so that something new in this life. So you don't end life in a place where you are meeting up with problems and situations. She taught me this, that whenever I feel like, when it comes to life, having problems, I have my hands and I have my logic. These are the two things that can put bread on the table for me. So there is no way that you can put me in a corner and say, I am stuck here. There's always a way out in life. So in any circumstance, in any situation, in anything that you come across with, there's always a way out. So I would grow up. She used to take me to church. Did I say that? She used to take me to church. Yes. Yeah. They would call it Iwusil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had that red and white stuff. I was very short. I wish I had my photos here so I can see. I was very short, so I used to wear those stuff. She would take me to church, and I would use to imitate these preachers there. They would catch their breath when they're preaching, and I was like, I want to preach like that. But I was just doing them for fun that time. I didn't know I was going to end up being saved one day.
Wow.
So sometimes you imitate things that you are going to become one day. So this is the life that I've learned from her.
Wow,
Yes.
Amazing. I wish she was alive to listen to what
Yes,
you've been saying about her this morning. Wow. May her soul rest in peace. We believe she's in heaven safe.
Yes.
that amazing. And you say that she taught you about education. Tell us about your education. You said you did electrical and is it mechatronic?
Mechanical.
Mechanical
Mechanical.
engineering, but
Yes.
you didn't complete both.
Yes.
So what made you do both of them and yet still incomplete?
Oh, first, when it comes to studies, I always had a passion for psychology. Psychology,
Okay,
yes, but on,
okay.
on the clinical side. So I had always read these books. When it comes to psychology, I would read clinical psychology books, and there's my cousin sister Anani, you know her.
Yes.
She would always bring me books from NMU, and I would read these books. I'm so passionate to read about these books. But when it came to my studies, I started my grade 12. I did my grade 12 in 2010, but then I was not saved then. I was saved around 2013. So 2010 I did my grade 12, but I failed because there was a time where, you know, when you grow up, and then there's this peer pressure that you so I would take myself to the bush because the time my peers were already there. They went and came back, and I had this pressure that I have to now be a man also. So I put the pressure on my parents. I want to go to the bush also. So I skipped my studies. Because I have that confidence that I'm going to pass anyway at the end of the year. So I skipped June. Then I failed. Surprisingly, I failed all of my major subjects.
Oh, wow.
So I on 2011, then I went, and then I was working, and then I find a job at Spar as a merchandiser. Now hit me around the end of 2012 to go back to school.
Okay.
So I resigned immediately. Look, in planning to 2013 that I'm going to go to finish my grade 12. So I went to grade 12. I didn't even find school 2013, but basically I think that was my road to salvation, because right after that I got arrested. It's a long story, like how I got arrested. I think I'm going to leave that to you guys. So after that, and then my studies, I struggled with school. I found school at the end of the beginning of 2014. So I had to redo all the subjects again.
Wow.
Yeah. So my majors were maths, physics, biology, and also there was tourism. Yes. So all these 4 subjects I had to redo them. Now I struggled with physics and maths, the major of mechanical and electrical engineering. I struggled with 2 of them.
Wow.
So in fact, it was only mathematics that I struggled with. There were guys that I would sleep with at the church, and they would tell you, I would pitch up my board, my white chalkboard. I would pitch it up in the midnight, and I would stay there, and I would solve 2 problems the whole night, the whole morning, from 12 in the morning, 6 o'clock. And I would struggle with two of them until the morning. So I'll be solving this X, and then I had this prayer. I want to know this. I don't know this stuff. So now 2014 I find Kucha. Then I went to upgrade again. I did both of them. So then I found a little bit of light there. Now things are becoming easy now. Now my passion when it comes to maths and physics, because I struggle with them, is growing now.
Wow.
Do you see? It's growing on the other side now. You see, now psychology, I'm beginning to forget a bit now, because now I have to solve this problem. Because I have to go through this giant. I can't leave this one. So I had to face it, and then I did it. The first time I went to college, I still failed maths and physics at Bucha, even though I upgraded. The whole year I was excellent in my classroom. You can ask. There was Mr. September and Mr. I forgot the other teacher. They were teaching me maths and physics. I was an A grade student the whole year, but at the end of the year I still failed. So now I'm saved now. Now when I see things, I see them spiritually. I would say now this is a problem I'm facing with spiritual stuff here. So I didn't look it that way now, because I know now what's happening. I know how to solve these problems, but I can't get my results to where I'm expecting them to be. So it was a problem to me, but on the spiritual side. So I looked at this stuff. I said, you know what, this is spiritual now. Now, college, I ended in Midlands College. When I registered there, I still had these 2 pending subjects. Then I registered my subject there, and then they registered me on N1 when it comes to mechanical engineering, and then I did mechanical engineering. There, mathematics is just from basic. Now it became a breakdown in my life to understanding and grasping the methods and the concepts of mathematics. Then it became very easy to me. It was like a wake-up call. It's like I'm getting saved again. Now that I'm understanding this stuff, it's becoming easy now. And now I get excited even more to go and pursue and learn more deeper stuff when it comes to mathematics. So I did my mechanical from there, but I didn't finish. I went up to N3. Then I went to which is the other college, PE college, and then I finished my entry from there, my mechanical entry from there, and then from there I wanted to start with electrical engineering. I said, okay, let me go back from N1. No, it was not. No, I was equivalent to start from N2, N2 and N3. So I left both of them from there. Now, to me, when it came to college, it was for me to grow the knowledge of mathematics at the same time, because I still had a pending mathematics when it came to grade 12.
Wow.
So I remember the other year, I think it's around 2016, 2017, I registered my mathematics there at the Department of Education. I said, I want to write this maths. So I registered my mathematics there. And then I had to now to convince myself that I'm going to break this thing, because I know this stuff, but I do not understand how do I feel it at the end of the year.
Exactly.
So now I took it to that level where I would study and I would lay hands on it and I would pray for it. Because now I was facing on two sides, because on the concepts, when it comes to the logic of it, I had no problem. But now why do I not get my result the way I put them down? So it became problematic to me.
Okay.
So now I had to fight. Now I would pray as I study. I would pray as I study. I remember the other time I was walking down astronomy. I was going to write my exam. So I was walking down. There was this worship inside of me. This song that was sung by Bethel Worship. So they would have this song that I loved very much. It say, Lord, you help me to remember. Lord, you help me to remember. You help me to remember. So I would sing it, Lord, you help me to remember.
Yes.
I love the song. So it became life to me when I entered the exam room, because everything I studied, I wanted to remember it.
Exactly.
Because now I'm trying to make sense why I'm not getting this stuff. So it was then that I found my breakthrough when it came to mathematics.
Wow.
I got my results back and I passed my mathematics.
Amazing.
Then I said, okay, I'm going to help others that are struggling with this stuff, so that they can see this is very easy. This is very easy. This is very easy.
Wow, that is so amazing, Bulelani.
Yes.
We will go to this part where you've motivated yourself that you want to learn this, you want to do this. But I want us to go back a little bit. Remember, this show is about changing people's lives, changing destinies.
Yes.
There's a part of your life that I'm interested on. I think the listeners are also interested on. Before you got saved. What happened there? You were arrested. What happened? What did you do? And how you change your life from that person to the person you are today.
Wow. Okay. When I got arrested, 2013, I moved, because I moved out of frustration. In 2013, I was not finding any school, because I had that mind I want to go back to school. So I moved out of frustration. I went to my uncle's place in Hanki, if you know Hanki, right? Some of those rural areas around when you go about Jeffreys Bay. So I went that side because I was still frustrated. I can't find school. So I need to think. I want to settle down and think what I'm going to do this year, because I already resigned. So okay, now when I went there, as young people, you always had parties and all this stuff.
Okay.
I was drinking. I was smoking. I had ladies and all that stuff. So there's another post that I posted on Facebook that the people think that I went to church because I was poor, or okanye kuthiwa ngesixhosa lana kuthiwa umuntu ukofile bekucova nikofile. No, nangakofanga.
Okay.
You understand? So I went to church. At that time, we had all this time, all these good times, and all. Mind you, on in Hangi, I grew up there. I stayed there 2 years around. I was doing my grade 8 and grade 9, so I stayed 2 years there. I was at the time where my grandfather was still alive, so I was taking care of goats, taking care of cows, taking care of chickens. So in my family, it was one of those families that are respected in the area. So I had everything, even on both sides. I had everything. So there was nothing that I was lacking. So it was that those families that they are appointed as rich, as wealthy families. So I had all this stuff. So now I learned all this stuff from grandpa. Now he showed me how to take care of all these things. I would see, like David, I would see a goat from a distance, and I say that goat it belongs to my house. So I was trained on that side also. So when I went back there, I went back to get that peace of mind again, because I was frustrated because I can't find school. So when I was there, I had everything still. Even though I resigned, I had everything. My bank account was not lacking. So young people think when you are taking yourself to the Lord, they are thinking that you are taking yourself to the Lord because now you have reached rock bottom when it comes to material stuff, money, and all these things. But it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of what happens on the inside of a person. So now, to me, I learned it that way, because when I got arrested, I woke up. I was drunk. Now I was having this time with these guys and these ladies at my house, and I threw a party in my house because there was no one. Everyone went away, and I had my house to myself. I was in charge. I was the boss. I bought booze. I was left with money. I was left with everything. So I bought booze. I bought everything, and then ladies just popped in, and all these guys, my friends, old time guys. So because it's been a long time since I've been there. Now we are celebrating myself being here again. So we had all this good time. Now I drank so much that I can't remember what happened last night.
Wow.
I wake up in the morning, there was a knock on the door, and there were police, and they said, "We came to arrest you." So to me, it was I don't know how. It's like something that you expect to happen to your life, and then when it hits you, you are ready. Yes. So I had my bigger brother. He was a very naughty guy. He has been arrested. He went in and out of prison. So he would always tell me about the life of prison. So I had the inside of prison. What's happening inside there. So I told them, "Okay, guys, you want to take me away? I'm very scared now. But I'm keeping myself calm. Okay, you want to take me away now? I want you. Please be still. I'm going to change all of these good clothes. I'm going to wear those rag, those ones that are dirty, they are wetlands. So I put them on because I know what's happening in prison." so now I prepared myself. They took me away. So okay, it's fine. My uncle's gonna come and take me out of prison. With all this, I was privileged so much. I was not even fearing even the police. So okay, I'm cool, I'm calm. So I got arrested. I was accused of rape. So we're gonna take you away, man. Okay, it's fine. So they took me away, and then I got arrested. I think I stayed there for a month and 2 weeks in prison in Sinepans. So in there, to me, when I entered prison, it's like I'm experimenting the theory that I was told now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that when you went to prison, these are the stuff that you should be aware of.
So
You should not like other people's food. You should not like smoking too much. I like to smoke very much at times. So I went in there and I made a covenant with myself that I'm stopping to smoke right here.
Oh my God.
I'm going to end up fasting. I didn't know what's a fasting then. I was not even saved. I'm going to learn not to eat food today until someone comes and visits me. Because now I'm taken to a place where I'm not even so you have to have things so that you can be safe in prison. It's either you have is either it's like I must have visitors that come
bring you
in to
something
bring me
so that you
food
can
and
eat.
good stuff
Okay.
and cigarettes. Yeah,
It's like
you are-
exchanging
exactly,
for
exactly.
your life.
Yes, you actually very life. It's either you become one of the gang or you
Members.
have those things, those good
That
stuff to keep you
comes in.
safe.
Wow.
So I had that privilege. I told them, guys, please, you must please visit me frequently because now I want to be safe here.
Yes, yes.
So they did that.
Definitely.
They came in with stuff, with good stuff. I saw them, no, don't bring those too expensive cigarettes. Bring those very low
Low
ones.
ones.
It's because here they are used to those ones and they were
Okay.
very high there. You see those 50-cent cigarettes, it's gold there.
Wow.
So it was a privilege to me when I was bringing those things. I was taken very high. I stayed there. My staying there was very comforting because I had all these things. What you miss beans. What you miss beans. So I kept Miss Beans yam on point. You see. So now at that time I told myself I'm not going to take nobody's cigarette. When I entered there, they offered me first time. It was 10 seconds was a very long period for them to stay, not ask me what I want. They offered me a cigarette. I said I'm not smoking. And I smoked the other day, and they were like, "Oh, you know what is happening here?" And they said, "Yes, I know what's happening here. You rather owe me than I owe you. I'm going to give you my cigarette." I get so that's how I survived there.
Okay.
So now when I was in there, I saw myself now I'm in trouble because no one is able to take me out of this place. I was in up and down, caught up and down. I was not getting out. So it became frustrating to me. Now I realize I have a problem, a deeper problem than money can handle.
Exactly.
Because now money cannot solve this one. So my parents took me from Nyanga to Nyanga.
Okay. Is that after now you came back from
After
prison?
from prison, because I stayed for a month and 2 weeks, remember? So I went out of prison, but I still had a case because I went out on bail. So the case was hanging there because I had to show up. I have court dates every time. So now they would take me to Nyanga from Fair Plus to other cases. I went from Mange to PE. I came back. So they take me with all these people and all this stuff. It went about I think about 2 months or so. I would wash in the morning. Well, before I go to court, they would take me outside around early 4 o'clock, and I would go naked in the yard, and they would pour me all this traditional stuff on my body, and it's freezing. All that is winter is coming in. So I would do all these things. They are not working. I would still have a casing on me. So I realize I have a problem here, and it's me that I'm not sleeping at night, and these do not understand. So mom invited me to church one day and said, "Why don't you come to church?" So I said, "Okay, let me try out." I was trying everything. Now I'm in trouble. Money cannot handle this one. So I had to try everything. I had to try everything. So going to church was one of the options. So I went to church, not realizing that day was the day that my life would turn around. So when I went that day, I'm a person that keeps things to myself. I like to solve things myself. So at that point, there was a point where you have to come to a point in life where you say, I cannot do this. You have to let go of this stuff. It's too much for you. So when I entered the church, it became to me a turnaround when the pastor was calling people to the altar. Before even he was calling people, right during the preaching, to me, I was already crying. I was seeing the flashes of life right before my eyes. I would see the freedom, the liberty, the letting go. So to me, it was like there's something that is coming off me. Now I'm experiencing that that thing that is called new birth. I'm experiencing it right now. So that day was a day to me. So I said, you know what? If this is how I feel, I want to see what I'm feeling. To me, it was that. So, okay, I can feel this freedom. Let me see it come to pass. So I had to lay down faith now. I had to experience, I had to exercise my faith in the Lord that He can take me out. As I was feeling all this freedom spiritually, now I had to understand the things of God in this way that He can do it also in the natural, and He is able to make them to be visible. So I came back. They at the home they are expecting that I'm going to still use the traditional things and the Nyanga things, all these Amakwe
and stuff.
Yes, all that stuff. Now, I'm a very stubborn person by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I went there, I said to them, hey, guys, I think my life is, I don't think this is going to work again.
Mm-hmm.
And they cursed me. I remember my uncle said, in China, we have never seen a person going through a case of rape and come out of it without using traditional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, if that's the case, then let me be the first one.
Okay.
Now, the other uncle from Hanke, the one I stayed with, this is what he said to me. If you come out of this case, I'm going to church.
My God.
Now, I had also now what we call what is this stuff? An assignment.
Yes.
I have an assignment now. I have to get myself out,
Exactly.
and also I have to throw this
For
one
this
out.
one, yes.
You see now, I have a
Not just
double.
you alone now.
I have to pray for two things now.
Oh
I was
my
praying for me.
God.
I was praying for himself.
Yeah.
One day, I went out. It was the last day. I was going up and down until 2015. So they dropped the case and said, we didn't find anything. You are innocent.
Wow.
It was like all things are new now.
Wow.
I would drink water. My pastor called me and said, go taste water. It would taste like Coke. So I went there and I tasted water and it feels like you. You are experiencing this freedom now. The one that I encountered in the spiritual realm, I saw it.
Yes.
I said, God is faithful.
Oh my
If he
God.
can free you, as just Christ is saying that if the Son, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. If that in the spiritual it can happen, also it can happen in the natural. So to me, it was a freedom totally. Now he called me. The uncle called me and said, I have gone to church. I think
my
after 2
God.
weeks, he called me. I was hearing rumors that he is saved.
Praise God.
I'm telling you.
Praise God.
And I said, God works in wonders
Exactly.
that no man cannot understand.
And
So that
he can use anything.
yes. So I said maybe my situation was for him,
Exactly.
but not for me. Do you understand it? So that's the story when it comes to being in prison and meeting and encountering the Lord Jesus. So that's how it happened.
We thank God when I put Bulelani for your life, because when I'm reiterated what you just told us, it's a reality of many of our youth, and some of them, they become fascinated of prison life because like it is there, it's in their face. When you go to TV, you see it. Some brothers, like elder brother, will come and tell you about the life of prison.
Yes.
So some will get fascinated, some will want to experience the life,
Yes.
not because they poor, they lack, they need something, just because they feel like they want to do this and they want to feel it's something, it's a huge achievement for them when they go to prison.
Yeah.
Which is, now we want to change that mentality that prison is it's not a safe place to be. It's not
You're not
it's not healthy. It's not a free place to be. Like Bulelani is saying, when he got there, he knew what to do, but at the end of the day, he was not free spiritually, physically, and I'm sure mentally also. It hit him that now I'm here, I can't do anything other than that. So what we're trying to say to our people, whoever listening, to our listeners out there, that prison life is not healthy. Prison life is not something that we would want you to go through. I'm sure now, I want to know now, what would you have changed? What would you have done differently now that you know the truth? That you know, what would you have done if this were to happen now? What happened back then happened now? What would you have changed? What changes? You know what?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay, I hear your question very clearly, Mama. From my experience, the only thing that I would take away is the experience of going through those traditional stuff where you get exposed to cold, exposed to all this cutting and all this cut. You get cut all of your body because you are being put away. So those are the things that I would like. Okay, take this one away.
Okay.
But at the very same time, taking those away is going to take away the glory. It belongs to the Lord.
Yes.
But
yes.
to me, it would, like, if you take this away, it would be fine for me. So the experience is not good. It's really not good. It's very bad, because you have to be very strong in the spirit for you to go out of that place.
Oh my God.
prison life is not good. You have to be very strong for you to be able to conquer that inside torture that you felt inside there. I went there because, and I experienced that even the walls, they were smelly. The prison walls, they had this stinking. There's this smell. There's no comfort in there. I remember one day there's this guy. He would every night, because I said when I started, when I talk about prison life, it's either you are becoming one of the gang or you are having these visits with good stuff. So this guy had made a mistake by taking what we call food from other prisoners, and at night those things would come back. It's like batting a return. So we talk about return. So I'm return, say you are returning what I gave you, but you are repaying it with your body. That's how it is. Even if I had food to repay you, the same food that you gave me, the gang would not want it. We don't want that, because I gave you my special food at the day. Now at the night, my food has to come back, and you have to repay it with your body. So I would see this guy every night. They would rape him. Every night he would rape him in such a way he was his life. He was living it in a manner of being a woman. He took himself as a woman in prison, taking food from other prisoners and taking cigarettes from other prisoners. I would see those stuff. So they are not nice things that are happening there. They are very bad stuff. So it has a way of crippling a person, the real you, when you see this stuff. So it takes God to take this stuff away.
It does.
It takes God to wash them away, to cleanse them. So when I got saved, I was like, I wish God can take that guy out of that place, because that's not a nice place. And all these people are taking advantage of him because they see him as an object of sex.
And speaking of prison, you spoke about physical prison, how people suffer and all that. But there's also something called spiritual prison.
Yes.
Now that you are a God-fearing man, what are some spiritual prison that people might find themselves in? Or if you find yourself in any spiritual prison other than the physical one, and how did you overcome it? How did you come out of it?
Wow. That's a big question. Okay, there's one of the spiritual prisons. Most of the time, I would say, it's identifying who you are,
exactly,
the person, the personality. It's like now when I'm inspired by you, I look at you, I say I want to become like you one day, and then it's a good thing to look at it and say I want to become like you one day. But there's a thin line between becoming and being yourself.
Exactly.
There's a thin line right there. Because you can idolize in such a manner that you copycat the person, the opposite person that is not you. And then you become that person. You end up losing the personality of you. The real personality. Then you lose it, not knowing that you have already lost it. So I wish now people, when it comes to this is very difficult, because identity is something that all Christians have to come across with. They have to find it. And without Christ, you cannot find it. So a person that is there at a distance to look at it is good. But you have to discover, what have you been brought for here on this earth? It's like Jeremiah, God told him that I have ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. So he already knew that I'm a prophet. Doesn't mean that the prophet does not go through hunger.
No.
Doesn't mean the prophet does not go through stuff. So it doesn't mean that because I have seen someone taking a route. It's like when you take careers. It's like they say, this is what they say to me. Mechanical is very difficult because they ran away from drawings. They ran away from drawing stuff. And I found out that I love drawing. What if I feared away and said, you know what? I'm going to shy away from this because they said.
It's difficult.
But I have decided to go there, and I found that there's something I love here, and it's that same drawing that they say is very difficult. So sometimes you don't have to. You have to follow people to school, but to school you have to choose your own subject, your own career. Do you understand it? So I would put it in that way. So most of the prison people find themselves in is a prison of being in loss of identity.
That's very deep, and
Yes,
like
yes,
I'm
yes,
glad you
it
touched
is.
identity. Yesterday we're speaking about identity.
Yes.
You know, we need to know who we are in
Yes.
Christ, not
Nice.
trying to copy others, but
Mhm.
find yourself who you are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yes,
Wow.
Tell us about your Facebook page. You know, you say you are trying
Trying.
to learn to help others like
Mhm.
matric and primary school with their mathematics, and
Yes.
since you find that it's something that you love,
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
tell us about that. How can people like get in touch with you if someone? I know a lot of people struggle with it.
Yes.
So how can they get you? Or tell us about it.
Okay. My Facebook page is called Math Sessions with Mr. M. So you can find it on Facebook. Then I also have a channel on YouTube.
Okay.
So you can also visit that. It's the same Math Session with Mr. M. You're going to find all my videos there. I'm doing from grade 7 to grade 12 videos. So, and then I have also my WhatsApp number is 071 066 7686. So if you want assistance, you can drop a WhatsApp there, then I will assist you. And also I help students on basic when they want to see a video of a certain topic, and then they can hit me on WhatsApp and say, Mr. M, we want you to record this kind of a question. Maybe they are struggling with a certain question. I'm there to help them. And then I'll record that video and then I'll drop it there on pages and also on YouTube.
So it's like a free, it's like a free service
Free
that you
service.
offer.
Yes, but I have also my sessions on one-on-one sessions
Okay.
where people book their own personal appointments.
All right.
Say I charge 100 rand an hour.
Okay.
Yes, so you can also find me on Facebook. You can find me on WhatsApp and book that appointment. And also for long distance students, I do Zoom sessions.
Okay.
It's either Skype, whichever way that a student
Works
is
for you.
comfortable with.
Oh.
So I do those video calls sessions, and also I do one-on-ones for around Port Elizabeth. I do one-on-one sessions. I go to them or they come to me. Either
That's
way.
amazing.
It
That's
is.
really
It
nice.
is.
Either way.
Is it only maths only that? Is it maths only that you're doing, or is any other subjects?
I'm doing maths and physics,
Okay.
but physics has not grown
That's much.
its popularity that
Yes,
much.
it is.
But I take physics students also.
Okay.
But my most major one is mathematics.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
nice.
okay. Are you tell us about your studies? Are you intending going back to complete your studies, or you just now
Leave it.
focusing on on the wife or
Yeah.
the sessions?
I no. I have to complete them. But
Okay.
I'm going to complete mechanical only.
Okay.
I'm going to complete mechanical only, and then so that I can acquire my diploma. So I'm going to complete it, but I'm going to take it part time. I'm not going to go full time because I'm married now.
Tell us about your wife, by the way.
Wow, I have a beautiful wife right
What
there at home.
impacts like has she brought into your life?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I said my bio that I am writing.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
doing-
yes. You
I'm
also
doing-
say that you're
I'm-
freelance writer.
I'm freelance writer.
Okay.
That's where she comes in. Because sometimes you don't get to see who you are, other things that are
Yes.
Exactly.
very effective in
Something
life
helps you.
until someone comes
Someone
in
comes.
to your
Wow,
life.
Wow.
We're in a corner right back last year. I started writing last year or a year before that. Yeah, a year before that. I started writing then. I have a book called I'm still not. I've not completed it yet.
Okay.
It's called Missing the Mark. It's based on the 7 deadly sins. So I'm writing a book on that one, but I've not completed it yet. I started writing it on 2018. So last year I found other platforms, online platforms, because we wanted to get married. I had to find, because I was still a student then when I proposed to her. So I have to think now what I'm going to do. I have to shift stuff. I have to balance these things. I have to acquire my school. I have to do school. Also, I have to get money
Yes,
for food
exactly.
on the table.
Exactly.
The Bible says
to
a
provide.
man does not
you
provide
have
for his
to.
family
You have
is
to.
worse than an infidel. Is worse than an unbeliever. So I had to think about those things. Okay, let me try and find things that are on are balanced with what I'm already doing. So I found writing platforms, online platforms where you write and take homeworks for students. You take them and then you help you help those students with those stuff, and they pay you with it's international platforms where you get paid on pounds and dollars and all these euros, so you get to convert it on rands when you get paid. But now it's a platform where they take in writers on a basic it's like when you go into NMU, you have to write a test for you to be acquired as a writer. So I went through those things, and then I took those tests, I passed them, and then I started writing, and I discovered other platforms also. So I have many platforms that I'm in that are online, are very effective. So she was the one who inspired me on that side.
Wow.
Yes, if she was not there,
Not
I would not have found that corner.
Oh my God.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Two are better than one.
You see? You know, when Maria, what I love about our series is that we have people that are doing what they love.
Exactly.
And also it becomes a business to them. The passion, something that they like, it becomes a business for them. I like it very much because we always say to our listeners is that you need to find your purpose is in your passion.
Yes.
You know, if you find what you like, what you're passionate about, then you know your purpose.
Exactly.
You know, yeah. So
and when you do what you love, like you enjoy it.
Do what you like, you enjoy. You know,
Yes.
and
it's really nice. Like
nice.
I'm glad she
and you get to earn. You know, you
Yeah.
get to earn while doing what you love. It's
Exactly.
like, okay,
Exactly.
you don't feel any pressure, any energy. It's like, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it very much.
That's really beautiful. Wow.
Thank you, wife, for
being a supportive
wife. You know,
She's
we
gonna
have
a good
learned
day.
something today.
That's amazing. So, and about your Facebook page, like, is there something that you just want to keep it online, or do you wish like to open maybe a teaching academy or center or something like that, or you just want to keep it more like online and like one-on-one session with the people that comes to you?
Can I speak it in Xhosa?
Yes, I will translate. I will translate.
Which one? Umoya pepeza ne?
Yeah, wind blows. The wind blows. Why?
You don't know which direction you are.
Yes.
I get you.
Yeah.
It's like now you are entering into my vision as well.
Oh, yes.
So I think because I have a greater vision when it comes to this one. One day I would love to open an academy, my own academy, big one. So not based on mathematics only, on variety of subjects.
Exactly.
So that means bringing in other people, which is job creation.
Exactly.
Also,
That will also help the youth that you know.
Yeah. So I'm still pursuing on how to go about and starting that big project. Because I have a big project on my mind that I want to start when it comes to opening an academy and start a big school. In fact, my idea is the university, in fact, more than an academy, but there's always a starting place. If I have to start there on academy, I'll start there, and then I'll go higher and higher. So I am targeting to open as a big university one day. That is big as Nelson Mandela Bay, NMU, big as that, even bigger than that. Yes, I want something that will be able to touch international students. Yes, not even around South Africa only, to touch outside of South Africa. So that's what I'm pursuing right now.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know when I'm allowed to say this. For me to have a young person dreaming so big, it's so inspiring.
Exactly.
You know,
and thinking for others,
as well. You're not just about yourself. You be about other people also. It's such an inspiring story, and I want to say keep dreaming and keep dreaming big.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
not even the sky will limit you.
Yes.
You know,
And you
with
can go
God,
above.
we always say with God all things are possible. It can happen. You know,
Yes.
it will be amazing to have a black
Yeah.
child starting a
Something.
university,
Exactly.
even starting a college. For me, it's a huge thing, you know, in our society. A black child starting a college, even a 10 people class, for me, it's something. You have done something to make a difference in our society, in our community. So keep dreaming, keep, you know, see it in the spirit.
Picture.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Wow.
Tell us, are you when can we get the book? I'm so interested now on the book. I want to know, when can we get the book? When is out?
Yes.
I think I'll be the first person to buy.
Wow. Okay. I don't have the exact time. I was planning to finish it last year, but I got disturbed. So by other personal stuff.
Okay.
So the book is, I think there are few chapters. I'm 3/4 away to finishing it. So I'm not that far. So I think I can finish it if I can start completing it again. I will finish those pages in 6 months, and then I will publish it. But then, you know, when you write a book, sometimes that book becomes personal to you. It's like this. Those things that you write about, they come again, and then you experience them.
Yes.
Some of the things, because some of the things that we write as writers, we write them in quoting other people than having the actual experience. So I have experienced some of the things that I wrote about.
Wow.
Mostly last year. Most of them in that book, I have already experienced them, and they came alive. And I said, okay, you know what? Maybe this is the reason why I'm writing the book, to go through these things and understand what I'm writing about more than just a theory, but it became life to me. So I think I'm gonna. What is it 2021?
2021, yes.
2021. By the end of this year, I will finish the book.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, by the end of the year, I will let you know.
When is it out?
Yes,
You won't let me know. I will let him know that you said you finished the book.
I'll finish it.
We're waiting to hear from you.
Wow.
That's
We'll be
really
waiting, I'm
amazing.
sure, yeah.
I don't know if you have got any other questions, Sister Thumela.
God-fearing men. God-fearing men. How it's been like? What challenges? Just shortly, tell us. What challenges have you, and what you enjoying about? It's not always about challenges. It's not a bad thing to be a God-fearing man. It's actually a good thing. You know, tell us about that. You don't have to go to the challenges. You can just tell briefly about you as a God-fearing man.
Wow, that's very personal to me. Firstly, I'll go. You know, me and my wife, we went through, before we got married, we went through a rough patch where I broke a heart myself. So we had that challenge. Now we ran to a place where we are beginning to grow a place of mistrust. So it hit me in this way, because Paul is saying in the book of Ephesians that Christ is preparing his church so that it can be without wrinkles.
Yes.
He purifies it and he cleanses it so that it can be holy, and then that he may present it to himself. So it hit me because I had to now do things the way God does them. I had to understand the woman the way God understands me. So as a church, God sees us as the bride, and he is taking care of us. He's cleansing everything that is dirty, and he presenting his beautiful church, his beautiful bride, for himself, not for anyone else. So I said, if I'm going to treat this woman very bad, I'm doing the contrary of what God is doing in my life. It is displaying a character of not fearing God, of not understanding the concept and the will, in fact, the will of God about the bride, about the church. So I had to take it to that point where I would treat the woman as Christ treats me. I would make this woman very beautiful. I would love her with all of my heart. I would provide her everything that I can with all of my strength, so that she can be beautiful, so that he can come back to me. Because I said one day, I'll give you all of these things I will give you so that you can be very beautiful.
Mm.
You are not making you beautiful because
Going to go
I'm making
out.
it. I'm making you beautiful for myself.
Exactly.
Yes, it's in scripture. So
Wow.
now I take pride in that because now this is for me.
Isn't she blessed to
Yes,
have
she
you
is.
as a husband?
She is indeed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how it hit me when it comes to fearing God. Yes.
Amazing. That's really good. And
Yeah.
please keep it up. Keep
Wow.
it up like that,
Yes,
because some
yes,
people
yes,
start
yes.
and then along the way
They
Mm.
it
just
becomes something else.
Yes.
So keep it up. You're doing good, and God is pleased with you.
Yes.
So please keep it up.
Wow.
It's almost 5 minutes left here. We at the end of our show. It was
Wow.
really amazing. But we want you to give us like a last word. I want you to address mostly the youth.
The youth,
You know,
yes, yes.
a lot of youth are struggling, finding themselves maybe in situation where you've been yourself. Like, speak to the youth. I want you to directly speak to the youth in your conclusion before we go.
Wow. To the young people, I would say basically on do not give up. Do not look down on yourself. You know, sometimes people begin to misunderstand who you are. Most of the time, people want to buy you with stuff so that you lose who
your
you are.
identity in
Yes,
Christ. Like
you
what you
lose
just
that.
said.
So I want to encourage young people in this man that you do not take yourself cheap.
Exactly.
You do not look down on yourself. You keep dreaming. You keep seeing what you were born with. You keep pursuing your dream. There is nothing, Mama. There's nothing impossible here on this earth. There's nothing impossible here on this earth. The Bible says, "Izinto that are impossible with men, to God, they are possible." So anything that seems impossible into the eyes of men, take it to God. I would say to the young people, in anything that you want to achieve, take it to God. God will make it possible.
Amen.
If you want to start, you want to pursue studies, take your studies to God. He will make them possible.
Amen.
If you want to start a business, take that business to God. He will make it possible. So I want to encourage young people in that point that you do not give up and you trust God, and God is faithful.
Amen. That
Yes,
was
yes,
Bulelani here on Agape
yes.
FM, like hearing his story and encouraging the youth
Wow.
of today. Do not give up. Trust in the Lord. He will make a way where there seems to be no way.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for being here with us here on Agape FM, and thank you, Sister Thumela, highly favored. She's blessed and highly favored.
Wow. Yes.
Give us your last words.
You know, it is your show, Touched by Grace. You know, we change lives, we change destinies. That's what we're all about. You know,
Exactly.
we are so blessed to have such a young man with us sitting here telling about his story, you know, and not be scared to say
Exactly.
what he
To
went
open
through,
up.
so that he can open up everyone else that is listening. Listeners, please do stay tuned with us again next week, 11 o'clock on your favorite show, Touched by Grace.